Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Hezekiah of the second period in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, Part 5, from the fourth book of Redemptive History series, God's Profound and Mysterious Providence. Previously, we examined how Hezekiah boldly carried out a religious reformation. He also had his life extended by 15 years on the verge of death. However, he became proud after his life was extended. Then Hezekiah went to battle against Assyria twice. At this time in Part 5, let us examine how Hezekiah did not fully pass down his faith to his son Manasseh and share God's grace together. After the second Assyrian invasion, Hezekiah's life was full of riches and honor, and all that he did succeeded. When King Hezekiah died at age 54, they buried him in the upper section of the tombs of the sons of David, and the people of Jerusalem honored him at his death. This proves that Hezekiah was a good and righteous person. However, he was not entirely able to transmit his faith to his son Manasseh, thereby leaving behind the embers of tragedy in the southern kingdom of Judah. Hezekiah hoped that Manasseh would succeed the throne and rule as a good king. That is why Hezekiah set Manasseh as a co-regent for 11 years, from 696 to 686 BC. This was so that he could be trained as a leader from age 12 to 22. The year 696 BC was 6 years after Hezekiah recovered from his fatal illness, and he received a 15-year extension on his life. It was also 6 years from the time he received the prophecy of Judah's destruction from Isaiah. In consideration of all this, Hezekiah should have recognized the 15-year life extension as his opportunity to fulfill his final mission and make every effort to teach the Word of God to all the people so that they may recover the wholehearted faith. Most of all, he should have been diligent in the transmission of faith and a thorough instruction of the law to King Manasseh, who was to lead the next generation. For 11 years, Hezekiah may have instructed Manasseh about the dignity and the refinements a king should possess. However, we can deduce that his faith was not transmitted properly. Consequently, after Manasseh became king, the southern kingdom of Judah was sinful before God, and they started declining uncontrollably toward total destruction. 2 Chronicles 33 verse 9 says, "But Manasseh led Judah and the people of Jerusalem astray, so that they did more evil than the nations the Lord had destroyed before the Israelites." Everyone, Manasseh's 55 years of long and wicked reign was a direct result of Hezekiah's failure to properly transmit his faith to his son. Regrettably, the prideful attitude that Hezekiah once possessed was entirely transmitted to Manasseh. Manasseh's wicked reign of 55 years became a decisive factor, contributing to the destruction of Judah by Babylon. Jeremiah 15 verse 4 states, "And I shall make them an object of horror among all the kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, the king of Judah, for what he did in Jerusalem." Hezekiah wholly relied on God for his strength as he enacted the religious reforms that brought great joy to Jerusalem. However, his faith was not properly transmitted, but ended with his generation. Then, for 55 years of Manasseh's wicked reign, the people of the southern kingdom of Judah once again fell into a period of great spiritual darkness. Beloved saints, it is very important to keep our faith. However, it is more important to transmit our faith for God to our children and descendants. In the Bible, Lois and Eunice fully passed down their faith to Timothy, who was the grandson and son. 2 Timothy 1 verse 5 says, I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also. Everyone, today let our faith be like the faith of Lois and Eunice. Let us be victorious in transmitting our faith to the next generation. I bless in the name of the Lord.